Welcome to this Tutor to You Sociology topic video on research methods, looking at personal and historical documents. What do sociologists mean by personal and historical documents? Well, personal documents are documents that are specific to one person and usually not kept in the public domain. For example, diaries, letters, photographs, medical files, school reports. Although it can be argued that in contemporary society, with the increased use of social media, that sites such as Facebook, Instagram, and vlogs and blogs could also form part of personal documents. Historical documents refers to documents that tell us something about the past, which is useful for sociologists wanting to study social changes over time. Parish records, past government documents and memos, personal documents from the past, old TV and radio broadcasts, and older newspapers and magazines can all be used by sociologists to understand people's meanings, motivations, and personal opinions on topics from that era. Sociologists choose to use historical documents as it gives them a way of gaining an insight into social norms and attitudes of the past. It provides them with points of comparison that they can make with contemporary society and has the advantage of retrospectively examining why social changes occurred. Personal documents are useful because they can provide greater validity in researching the worldview of an individual, offering lots of qualitative data and a unique perspective on contemporary society, whilst also uncovering the meanings and motivations behind individuals' behaviours. Using both of these methods helps to uncover some of the truths about society, particularly amongst groups that have not been deemed worthy of previous study. Of course, there are practical, ethical and theoretical issues with using these types of documents. Gaining access to personal documents will be difficult as individuals or their family members will act as gatekeepers and may not want the contents of these documents disclosed. Historical documents could be very valuable and may be kept away from public display or require special permissions to view. Time is another factor. Historical documents may require specialist knowledge from experts to understand the language or context of those documents. They may also need to be translated from different languages, which can prove time-consuming and costly to the researcher. Finding documents to fit the purposes of the researcher's aims is another practical consideration. It's likely that the original purpose of the document was not for sociological study, and therefore it could require a lot of time and money for researchers to go through documents, only for them not to fit the aims of their research. Ethically, it's important that information used by the researcher is treated with confidentiality and anonymity, particularly with personal documents. These are usually kept away from the public domain because they contain thoughts, feelings and motivations that the author does not wish the world to see, and this must be respected so that the person studied cannot be easily identified. This can be done by using anonymity, for example assigning the author a pseudonym. There are also issues of potential harm. Relatives may not wish their family history to be discussed by outsiders or researchers to investigate issues such as suicide, which might attribute blame to the family, and therefore researchers must show empathy and respect the privacy of the family. Historical documents, particularly documents such as government briefings or minutes of meetings, might not be able to be used because they disclose matters of national importance or security. They may also contain sensitive material that implicates people in wrongdoing, which is a further ethical concern for sociologists. Theoretically, documents are preferred by interpretivists because of their qualitative data and their validity. But how can researchers be certain that what they are reading is authentic? How do they know that the source that they are reading is credible and not somebody who has an ulterior motive or a hidden agenda in writing what they have? There are also issues of representativeness. Can researchers be certain that the views expressed reflect the views of others in society at that time? As it is one person's account, the researcher would need to cross-check opinions and facts with similar sources to see if it was representative. Finally, documents can be seen to be highly subjective for several reasons. Firstly, the interpretations that are taken from the documents are based upon the researcher's viewpoint, making them less objective. Secondly, the author will have a subjective viewpoint, and this may differ from the researchers. It's quite feasible that researchers may end up interpreting the document in a very different way than it was intended. We have come across some personal and historical documents across the specification, most notably when studying families and households. Thomas and Zanecki used letters sent from Polish migrants in the USA to their relatives back home to analyse the living conditions of migrants. Peter Laszlo examined parish records to assess changes in the family structure over time, challenging Parsons' ideas that the nuclear family was a product of industrialisation. And Douglas's research into suicide victims used a range of methods, including unstructured interviews with families, but also relied upon personal documents such as suicide notes, diaries and medical reports, as he tried to understand the meanings and motivations behind the act. That concludes this Tutor to You Sociology topic video on research methods, focusing on personal and historical documents. Thanks for watching.